So what was you drinking in that video you did last time?
People thought it was beer, but it was actually...
They did. It looked like beer.
It was English breakfast tea, which is... That is what I switched to when I've had too much coffee. Then I go over to
Well, I did think that when you lifted it up the first time. I was like, is that beer? Is he drinking beer while doing a YouTube video?
So this video is all about Stewart Wood. You're seeing some examples of his work right now. He is an awesome macro photography YouTuber, and I wanted to introduce him to you guys so you have some more options when it comes to watching macro photography YouTube videos. And this is basically like a chat, almost like a podcast, where I ask him questions about how he got into macro photography and what equipment he uses and so on. And actually he did the same thing with me, so there is a video on his channel where he interviews me about macro photography, so go to his channel and check that out if you're curious, and also check out his awesome YouTube videos about macro photography. I apologize in advance for the shitty audio quality. This is the first time we do something like this, and the quality isn't great, but yeah.
So my name's Stewart Wood. I am a macro photographer and YouTube creator, the same as Micael, and I'm delighted to be able to be here on his channel answering questions for his audience. Okay?
First I want to ask you, what kind of subjects do you enjoy shooting the most? I kind of have a feeling on what the answer will be, but I'm still curious to hear it.
Jumping spiders all the way. Yeah. I absolutely love them.
But
I just think they're just a character in their own, jumping spiders are. They're known as, I think they're known as the clowns of the spider world.
Yeah, they are beautiful, and I have heard that they are supposed to be all over Europe. I haven't met one in the Swedish forest yet, but I hope to do that someday.
I'd be surprised. They are very common all over the place, and I fell in love with them when I watched Thomas Shahan.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, they're really good. Then obviously I went out and photographed one. And I was like, it wasn't a very good image. I mean, the eyes wasn't even in focus, you know.
But they are very
the other reason, yes, they are
nice.
And the other reason why I like them and they're always on my channel is they make very good test subjects, because you get to test your lighting diffusion. You get to test your lighting specular highlights, the reflections from your lighting, and you also get to test out your setup, whether it's good enough to be able to chase a moving insect around. So in one subject, you're getting 3 different testing scenarios that you can test your macro setup with.
And from what I understand, you also you keep them like in some kind of.
Yes, I've got some pet ones up here.
Actually, that kind of inspired me a bit. I'm maybe gonna try that. It would be nice to always have like a subject that's around.
Yeah. At any one time, a company could send me a lens or a flash, and I've always got a test subject I can just pull out. And the more important thing is, for testing wise, we're talking not artistic, but for testing wise, keeping it in the studio is a lot better for testing. So what I usually do is I test them out on my jumping spiders. It gets good results. Then I go outside and test it in the real world.
Then you have a baseline that works.
Exactly.
But don't you ever get tired of jumping spiders? Don't you ever feel like, oh, now I've shot them so much, so there is no more variations? Or
not personally. The YouTube channel does, because I get a few comments going on about there's too many jumping spider things. So I do have praying mantises and tarantulas as well that I can just vary the subject that I am photographing. And well, no, the answer's no. Basically, I just love them.
Yeah, I would love to get a few of those for the next Swedish winter.
They are very easy to look after. I mean, you feed them once every 2 days.
Oh, that's perfect.
You can get fly casters. You know, you go to a fishing shop or something. You let them hatch and you just pick them up, pop them in the enclosure, and that's it. But I think what the most important thing is, if you are going to keep a jumping spider, is you've got to handle them every other day or so, because they get used to you. They're like a dog. They get used to you, you know. And as people who have watched my videos will know, I've got certain spiders that have certain characteristics. You know, like Fidget. We never photographed Fidget because there's no way you could photograph him. He was just too horny all the time and running around.
That's very interesting that they have like personalities. You wouldn't.
They do. But then you got Susan, which is the big female that I photographed when I tested that diffuser. And she'll just sit there and let you do anything to her. So she's a great subject for just testing out your lighting. You sit there and you think, oh, this might be a good idea to try this out.
Yeah.
That's the one you go to test it on.
How did you get into photography? Like when did you first get interested in photography, and when was it?
2006 is what I can tell you. Before that, I used to do space art. I used to make planets, and it's just a hobby.
Oh, how in what way? Like physically or painting?
Like digital paintings or animation, like in Lightwave and stuff like that. 3D animation. You think Star Trek or Star Wars. Yeah. And I had an issue where I couldn't get decent textures online. There was all small, low-res JPEGs, and you got the JPEG artifacting in there, which when you put that onto a planet on a sphere, it emphasizes the problems with the JPEG files. So in the end, my friend Roger, who most of my subscribers will know who he is, he went and bought me a digital camera to basically take
that's very kind.
Textures. And when you're going on holiday, all the kids are making sandcastles, and then you're at the back taking pictures of rocks. You get some really strange looks from people. Well, that basically went on to, I want to try some portrait, I want to try some landscape, I want to try some macro. And I tried macro back in, let me think, I could get you the actual date, but it's around 2010. And it was the usual water drops on dandelion clocks.
Did you buy a macro for that, or like?
No, that was that was the 50mm on extension shoot, the Nifty 50. It didn't grab me until 2016 when I photographed a jumping spider, a zebra jumping spider in my back garden. And I thought it was the best picture in the world until I posted it online and realised just how not it was. And then I made it like a personal mission that to be able to photograph a jumping spider to the quality of Thomas Shahan, which is where it leads on to me finding his videos and so on. And so it was a long journey before getting to macro, but when I got there, I knew that that's what I wanted, because around 2014-15, I suffered from depression, and I put the camera down. I never touched it for 2 years, and when I was coming out of it, the only thing I missed was macro. So I knew then.
Yeah, so it was just been like a gut feeling that this is the kind of photography you enjoy the most.
Yeah. Exactly, because I mean, when you first get a camera, you're photographing everything. It doesn't matter what it is, you're photographing it. And like I said, the only thing I missed was macro, so I decided to just concentrate on macro.
And I think it's such a nice feeling when you start to realize what your thing in photography is. For me, it was exactly the same thing. I've done all different genres for quite a long time before I started realizing that like macro photography is really what I enjoy the most. But it's nice to be able to kind of focus a bit more, because that is when you can develop as a photographer.
And that was 2016, the same year you got into macro photography, which is strange coincidence, that is, isn't it?
But so let's talk a little bit about YouTube. Like, when did you get into YouTube, and how did you get the idea to start a YouTube channel?
It actually wasn't my idea; it was actually Roger's idea. So I approached Roger, and I watched Thomas Shahan, as you said.
Was that like your main inspiration, Thomas Shahan, or?
Thomas Shahan and another photographer by the name of Jonathan Wilner is my inspiration for getting into macro. Doing the YouTube thing, I watched Jared Poland, Throw Nose Photo, and he put out a video where he was literally, if you got an idea, just start it. Just start it. Forget learning, just start. And I was previously already on YouTube doing space art, and I stopped doing it because of the trolls. There were people calling me an idiot. One person called me a retard because I kept moving the mouse around, and I quit. And one of my friends, Glyn Dewis, he basically turned around and said that basically you're letting a troll stop you doing what you want to do, what you love to do. And I was like, that's a good point. At that point, I decided, I'm done with the space art. I've done it for about 10, 12 years. I want to move on to something else. I want to do macro photography, and I decided that I'm going to learn everything there is for macro photography. Then I'm going to start a YouTube channel to teach it. And I was on Discord at the time with Rog, and he turned around and said, well, why don't you start it now? Because I'd like to watch you develop as a macro photographer rather than you teaching it. And I was like, he's got a good point there. Why not just start it? And like I said, Joe Poland's video was going off in my head. Just start. And I just started it one day.
Well, when was it? How long have you been doing it now?
2 years. 2 years January.
Oh,
it was.
Okay. Almost the same as me as well.
Yes. Yeah. So you took off quicker than me.
I think actually
you're better at the metadata than what I am.
I'm not sure. I think I've been doing it for maybe 2.5 years now, or something like that. But the only reason I have subscribers was that I got a couple of articles in the big photography websites published in the beginning, and that was what kind of gave me the initial push.
Right.
Okay, so. When you're doing macro photography, what is your go-to setup? What is your favorite camera and lens, or what are you using basically? Why?
That is a very hard question to answer because my setup is changing every month. If you'd asked me this a couple of months ago, it would have been the 80D. Now it's the EOS R.
Yeah.
Lenses, it would have been the Irix lens. Now I kind of lean towards my reverse lens for certain situations. It's changing that much. If we say at the time of this recording, so if you look at the date of this video, you'll get an idea that a couple of months after it will change. Yeah. But at the moment, my go-to setup would be the EOS R with the Yongnuo twin macro flash and the Canon 100mm L series lens. That's my go-to setup. And I want to stress the only reason I use the L series lens is because of the autofocus for video.
Yeah,
it's not really to do with macro, but what I was finding is swapping from a video lens to a macro lens when doing my macro adventures, the inset would fly away. Yeah. So having that dedicated macro lens, all I need to do is just switch over to video now to get some bit of B-roll.
Yeah.
But like I said, it also depends on the subject as well, because like I said when I was talking to you before, when I've gone to full frame, I'm finding I'm further away now, so I'm having to incorporate the Ryonox or extension tubes a little bit more now as well.
Yeah.
So it's always changing.
But it is a really excellent lens, the Canon L.
Oh, it's a fantastic.
I remember, in the beginning, because I'm using Sony, I did a lot of research on the best Canon lenses because I needed to adapt the lens to my camera, and that was the sharpest and the most perfect image quality of the most popular ones, definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely something I don't regret buying, that's for sure.
Yeah. So what would be your dream camera and dream lens? If you had an unlimited budget to buy macro photography equipment, would you still use the same camera and lens, or would you buy something else?
That's a hard one. Let's talk about bodies first.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be mirrorless.
Yep.
Every time it'd have to be mirrorless, because when I first used the mirrorless camera for macro photography specifically, there's so many features in the mirrorless camera that it's just, I wouldn't say it's aimed towards macro, but it's just so much beneficial to macro, like focus peaking, for instance.
Yeah.
That is just really good. So I would have to have, dare I say, the EOS R5, because I haven't actually looked at the full specs yet. So
it will be a killer camera.
If we go by the rumoured specs, that hopefully the old cripple hammer won't come out and cripple it. It'd have to be the EOS R5.
Do you watch that guy's channel with the guy with the cripple hammer? He's so funny. What's his name?
I can't remember. But you know the cripple hammer's going to come in at some point, because those rumour specs are just too good to be true, aren't they? And this is what I'm saying about how quickly technology changes. Because if you'd asked me that 6 months ago, it would have been the 1DX Mark.
What do you say is the reason you constantly change what you're using? Is it because you like discovering new tools, or is it because you discover better tools as you go along? Or
it's mostly because of YouTube. With YouTube, people send stuff for review, which means unlike if I was just doing macro, I wouldn't get to play them unless you go to the photography show, for instance, when you get to play with stuff. And you get your equipment set up, and then something new comes out, or you get to play with something new, and you're like, oh, that would be good for photographing, let's say, ants, for instance. I know in my current setup, photographing ants would be hard, but if you add the Holy Grail lens, which is the Canon MPE65, photographing ants is really easy with that lens because you've got the capability of zooming in and out. So, yeah, when this new technology comes out and you get to play with it, you really don't want to go back, you know. So, yeah, it'd have to be, like I said, but I haven't seen the full specs, but if the specs are as they are rumoured to be, it'd have to be the R5.
And the same...
The combination would be with the lenses would be the 100mm and the MPE65. Between those two lenses, I can go from infinite to 5 times macro.
Yeah, that covers the spectrum pretty well. And let's end the gear discussion with. I'm also very curious about what flash and diffuser setup is your like go-to. Like, what do you think you get the nicest results with?
My best results is a combination of the twin macro flash and the diffuser from Photo Accessories. They're like a mom and pop company from Australia. They actually custom make.
Is that the diffusers. One that is like curved like this?
There we go. So yeah, this one here is like like a bonnet that wraps around the front of your lens.
Yeah, I watched your video about that, and I was also like blown away by the photos you took with. Very nice.
It's very nice, and the reason I like it because you can get nice diffused lighting from a lot of different diffusers because that's their purpose. However, the specular highlights on insects are different depending on what diffuser you use. And this one, it creates the look of, dare I say, human eyes in spiders' eyes, so it gives them like a character. Whereas if you don't use the diffuser, they've just got blackout eyes, you know, like a shark has, and they look lifeless and scary. But when you stick that diffuser on, they pop out and seem to just have a character to them. And I'm really liking these diffusers at the moment. So
I might look into
twin macro flash, and I've actually come up with a way of mounting the twin macro flash onto the camera in such a way that no matter what lens, no matter what magnification you're using, the lighting is consistent, so it doesn't change. Because you know,
that's also a struggle.
The MPE it moves in and out, doesn't it? Whereas the way I've done this is that the lighting stays consistent.
So the twin macro flash you're talking about is the Yangnu, or what was it?
Yes, that's the Yangnu YN24.
I'll have to check that out. I've been thinking about these, but I haven't tried one yet. So
I think it's an absolutely fabulous piece of kit because it's like 1/5 the price of Canon's flash. And you know, on paper, there's no difference between them. No?
I will definitely look into that one. I guess you have a review video of it as well. Maybe I haven't.
Actually, I haven't done a review video on that. When I bought that flash before I started YouTube, so I didn't actually get around. I really ought to do a review on that flash. Considering I'm still using it after 4 years, I think I've had it now, and I'm still using it. And I've tried the old speed lights. I always come back to the trim macro flash, I'll be honest, because the one key thing with the trim macro flash is I haven't got it actually on me. Let me just get it. So this is the trim macro flash, okay. And the reason why I prefer this over a normal speed light is, one, you've got the modelling LEDs in here that light up your subject to help with focusing, and on a mirrorless camera, it means you get a higher frame rate in your EVF, so that everything's a lot smoother. And the plus point is, if I just show you this, is on this. I'm assuming the Canons do it and the other makes do it, but you can also mount the flash up the top here.
Nice.
Standard speed light. So you got best of both worlds basically. So now if I want to use that diffuser like we did in the video, I can mount this up, and this also tips all the way down. Can you get that in focus? There you go.
Nice.
So you're able to set it up as a standard speed light if you wish to under certain certain situations.
Where in the UK do you live? Is it close to London?
I'm smack bang in the middle, just north of Birmingham. Most people guess from my accent where I live.
I'm so bad at recognizing accents, so I wouldn't know. But okay, nice. All right, Stewart, thank you for answering the questions and for this little chat. And yeah,
no worries. It's been fun, so thank you for having me.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Stewart, for being in this video. It was so much fun to talk to you. This is actually the first time we both talk to each other, so. But it's nice because we're a pretty small community on YouTube of macro photographers, and it's so much fun to get to know the others. And we will definitely do more videos together in the future. If you guys have any ideas on things we could do or topics or anything like that, just comment. And yeah, thank you again, Stewart, for joining.
Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go check out Stewart Wood's channel and check the interview he did with me. The link to his channel is the first thing in the description of this video. Thank you again for watching. Over and out. Bye.